Hello everyone. Today we are going to see the reverse linked list problem of LeetCode. In this problem, you are given a linked list and you have to reverse that linked list. So basically, in a linked list, there are 5 elements: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then you have to print like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to just reverse the links. Okay. And so let's see how we can just do that. Okay, so in a linked list, for every node, as we know that for the first node of that particular linked list is pointed by the head, and you are given only the head in the problem. Okay, you will be given only the head of that linked list in the problem, and this head will be pointing to the first node of that particular linked list, and every node is connected through a link. Okay. Now, if we have to reverse the linked list, what we have to do? The last node will be pointing to null. Okay. So if you have to reverse the linked list, then you have to just do one thing, that you have to just change the direction of that links. Okay. If we change the direction of the links, then the linked list will be reversed, and we have to do another thing. Then now after reversing, this head will be now pointing to this last node, and the next of that, but the first node will be the null. So you have to just do these changes. Now let's see how we can just go and do these changes. First of all, to traverse through the linked list, we want to make a dummy node. Okay, if we just address it to D or temporary node, whatever you want to do, you can just address it like this. So I'm just giving the name as D. So D is there. So initially the value of D will be head. Okay, through this D we will going to traverse this linked list. Now let's suppose at the very beginning this is D. The point D is pointing to this one. Now we have to just reverse this link. First of all, we have to reverse this link. How we can reverse this link? And we also have to pointing to the null from the first node. For that, we are basically creating another variable, which is basically previous, and just initialize this value also with null. Okay, now the first thing will be, we want to store the address of the current next node of D to a variable. For that, I am just making another variable, which is basically next node. Basically next node, and this next node I will store it like D next. So if I write D next, the next node, the address of the next node will be stored in this next node variable. What I do that here, because if I change this direction of the link, then I will not be able to traverse the linked list anymore by the next method. So I have to store this address of the next node at the beforehand, so that I can just traverse it later. So after storing it, what I'm going to do is that I am just breaking this link and just pointing to the next to the null, that means the previous. Okay, after pointing the next to the previous, I am just pointing the D from here to the next node. So I am just writing D equal to next node, and that's how it will going to, now D will be pointing to 2 over here, and now it is null, and the link of this direction is changed to this. The same procedure will be there, and that's how you can just go and traverse, like break all the links and just reverse them. At the very end, whenever this loop ends, this D will be now pointing to the null, and the previous, that means the previous variable will be pointing to the last node of that linked list. Now we have to just do one thing. We have to change the head from the previous head to previous. So because now previous is storing the address of that last node. So if I just initialize, if we just initialize this head value with the previous, then now this head will be pointing to this node, and our another task, which is reversing the list, reversing the links, that also be satisfied. So that by this process we can just go and reverse our linked list. So if we just go to the C++ code of that particular problem, we can see that we made three variables, which is basically temporary, as I denoted it here with D, but I write it temp here. And there are another two variables, which is basically previous, and another is next node. Okay, now until and unless this temporary variables is null, the loop will run. And every time the steps are, look it carefully. First of all, I am storing the address of the next node. That's what I did at the very beginning. I am storing the address of the next node. Then what I have to do, I have to just break this link and reverse it. I am doing it like this, that temp next to previous. So I am now pointing the temporary, I am now pointing to the next to my previous. So the link is reversed now. Now what I have to do, we have to store the previous value with our current node so that we can use it in the next node. And the very last stage is that we now uh, point our temporary pointer to the next node of that particular node. So that's how I write that temp is equal to next node. And after traversing the linked list and reversing the linked list fully, what the last step is that we are now pointing the head to the previous. So that's what I write here, head equal to previous, and at the very last I'm just returning this head. And that's how you can just go and write the program of that particular solution. If you understand this problem, do hit the like button and subscribe this channel. Thank you.